Louis Vuitton was born on August 4th, 1821 in the Jura region, located in eastern France. His ancestors worked in carpentry, agriculture, and hat making. His father was also a farmer, and his mother was a hat maker. When Louis was 10 years old, his mother died and his father died shortly after. On the first spring day of 1835, when the weather was good enough to go outside, at the age of 13, Louis left home on foot for Paris. He traveled for over 2 years doing odd jobs to earn money and staying wherever he could find a roof. Finally, Vuitton reached Paris on foot in 1837 at the age of 16. And he learned in this profession from the boxmaker and packaging specialist named Monsieur Marshall. At that time, carriages, boats, and trains were among the main ways of transportation, and suitcases were difficult to carry because of their unsightly appearance. For this reason, people who went on a trip asked a professional person to pack and protect their belongings. Louis Vuitton soon got acquainted with the basic principles of box making and packaging and was able to gain a lot of skill in this field. These lessons were the starting point for him to start his own highly specialized craft business of designing and making custom luggage. He was trained in this profession for 17 years until he was finally able to set up his own workshop. In 1854, at the age of 33, Louis Vuitton married Emily Parriot, who was 17 at the time. Shortly after his marriage, he left Monsieur Marshall's shop and set up his own box and packaging workshop in Paris. Outside his store, he hung a sign that read, "The safest packer of breakables and specialist in fashion packaging." This brand started its work by making luggage. The idea of making a suitcase came to Louis Vuitton's mind when he observed that the suitcases in the market were not of good quality, and in 1858, he was able to market his first gray Trianon suitcase with a flat bottom layer and using canvas. This suitcase was light in weight, and the flat bottom layer made it easier to transport. His workshop started with 20 employees. In 1900, the number of employees reached 100, and by 1914, the company had grown to such an extent that 225 workers were working in this workshop. 4 years later, and in 1858, Vuitton launched its rectangular suitcases. The supply of such an efficient product made his workshop one of the largest workshops in Paris. Since traveling was possible for the upper class of the society, most of his clients were the aristocracy of the society. He became so famous in this industry that he was asked to take over the work of packaging and box making for Napoleon's wife. This made the courtiers interested in his work and become his customers. In 1867, the Louis Vuitton company participated in a world exhibition in Paris. In order to differentiate its design from other brands that imitated it, the brand changed its look and used a red and white striped design for its luggage. In 1885, this company opened its first store in Oxford Street, London. In the 1900s, people who traveled carried their essentials in suitcases and were often attacked by thieves. So Louis Vuitton, the master of luggage, decided to help his customers protect their goods. So in 1886, Louis Vuitton and his son George Vuitton used new locks for their luggage. The system of making locks was so unique and efficient that today the same technique is used to make luggage locks. Louis Vuitton died in 1892, and the management of the company was taken over by his son, George Vuitton. After his father's death, George decided to make the Louis Vuitton Company a global business and exhibited the company's products at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. The Louis Vuitton brand opened its building in 1913 on Champs-Élysées in Paris. At that time, this store was known as one of the largest stores that supply travel goods. The design and introduction of new products continued until George Vuitton died in 1936. After which his son Gaston Louis Vuitton took over the management of the company. During the years of his management, the company grew well and the number of its branches was increased every year, so that in 1977, 2 units of Louis Vuitton stores had an annual income of $10 million. The Louis Vuitton brand is known as one of the most valuable brands in the world, and Michael Burke is its CEO. This brand was the first brand among the 10 most influential brands in the world for 6 years in a row. The brand also collaborates with prominent designers and artists such as Takashi Murakami to design its products. By 2014, Louis Vuitton had about 121,000 employees worldwide and continues to grow.